As I walk through Bonsai Acres, Part 1, Phase 1, in Lake Elmo, Minnesota, I look at the trees, and I'm out here for a couple of reasons. The most exciting reason is I'm going to dig up some trees to bring up to my property, Bonsai Acres. But the other reason I'm out here today is we've had a pretty bad drought the last 4 to 6 weeks. But the trees look all pretty healthy. I don't see any drought damage, if you will, on the trees. It looks like some of the trees maybe put out some extra growth, but kind of stopped, maybe because of the dry conditions. All in all, I'm impressed for how little water we have and have had. This is nice. Let's pick out a couple of trees to dig out. This will be kind of fun. I knew there were a couple of trees that I left out here with some pretty severe sacrificial branches, and this is one of them. And so I'm going to transplant this one and bring it up to Bonsai Acres because it's got a lot of foliage on it. Very robust, very healthy. I think it'll survive the transplant that we're going to do. And all of this thick growth is helping to thicken up that bottom. So I think I'm going to grab maybe 3 or so of the white pines, maybe 3 or so of the red pines, well, and maybe 3 or so of the Korean firs. Get us about, 9, 10, maybe 11, 12 trees at the end. We better start digging. Bonsai Acres started in 2020 on this plot of land. Friends of the family, the Krugers. Neil worked with my son worked for him, I should say, at the tree farm. The Christmas tree farm. And I said, hey, can I have some land? Can I just have a little nook or a cranny in your operation to experiment with some trees? And that's what I did. So we're gonna go ahead and get this first one out of the ground. I'm assuming I might need a little bit bigger pot for this one, but I'm not sure. They've only been in the ground for, again, this is the 5th year of growth. And this is gonna be some really dry land. So the roots seem pretty decent, and as you go down deeper in the soil, it's not bone dry, but it is getting close. So we really need some rain. Or I might have to come out here and water some of these trees before winter so they have some moisture. Well, there's tree number 1. So what's really nice about this tree is there's a back bud on old wood right here. This is a white pine that's been in the ground for this is the 5th season, and there's back budding on old wood way down here, an inch off of where maybe 2 inches from where the swell is, the bottom. I like this angle it's in the pot right now, or in the nursery pot here. But big old sacrificial branch, but there's back budding, 2 of them, and one's a pretty solid branch down here. That's pretty nice. So there is one of the white pines. Yeah, I got some roots on that one too, looking pretty good. Okay, these aren't small trees. Got some thick trunks on here, starting to get some age. We still don't have the rough bark on the white pines. They're gonna be much slower to get rough compared to the red pines. So these need definitely some more time in the ground. Maybe 3 to 5 years up at Bonsai Acres, and these will have some really nice, more scraggly bark. There's more back buds down here, another back bud down here at this junction. One of these is sacrificial up top. Right over here, we got some sacrificial up here, maybe even back here. This is the tree right here. All this stuff can come off. probably from here to the right, all of this, and this will be our tree in the future if our base is relatively getting wider. So sacrificial, we might cut off this back one and let this go sacrificial next year, we'll see. Some white pines, 5-needle pines. We're gonna go tackle the reds. Let's see what we got to dig out from that pile. Got some fine feeder roots, some bigger roots. Got to get it home and water it. Give it lots of moisture for the trip up north. As we get a little closer to the trunks of the red pine, you can see how much more craggly they are. They've got more of a rough bark already. So that's kind of nice. 3 red pines ready to go up north. Next up I have 3 Korean firs. So I've had Fraser, balsam, Canaan, and Korean firs here at the property. And the Koreans seem to be the best back butters. They seem to be the most robust trees that I think will make a decent bonsai. They're slower growers than the other species, the red and the white. A little more bushy in nature than tall and thin when you grow in the beginning. They have a bit of a white pasty underside, so if you twist trees around, you actually have to twist them enough where you don't have the gray pasty side facing the sun, because then it won't photosynthesize as much. So with the Koreans, you have to be a little more careful with that. As I talked to my friend Neil this year, this was the year to start thinking about getting the trees out of the ground. He's thinking next spring they need all this acreage. So this section of Bonsai Acres will slowly next spring become the next leg of their tree farm. A little bit lighter color one, a little bit darker color one. Plenty of buds on these guys, ready to shoot out for next year. So we can have a lot of great growth next year, and a lot of branches down below too for some back budding. Let's find that third one. "12 trees. We've got 4 really big red pines. We've got 4 pretty big white pines, and then 4 medium-sized Korean firs. They're going up to Carrick, Minnesota to go into Bonsai Acres. Out at Bonsai Acres, my first plot, leased land from a friend of the family. Of course, I say lease, and that means free of charge. A little bit of moisture for these trees. The rest of them all look so much healthier. Got a couple cool looking trees, a couple of really bizarre looking trees. There's at least 100 trees left here on the property at a super quick count. Now, if they don't all make it, they don't all make it. I'll go for the best ones first, leave the scraggly ones. We'll get a team of volunteers out here next year, hopefully. My son included. Toby will be back in town, and we'll get these things out of here. We got to get these trees home though and get some moisture under those roots, because we just dug them up and disturbed them, and we're going to put them in the ground in 2 days, 3 days, 2 days. It's Friday. On Sunday with my dad, we'll be up at Bonsai Acres, and of course I'll bring the camera around. So got a couple cool looking trees, a couple of really bizarre looking trees, but a couple of cool looking trees. Oh, I should have grabbed this one. This has this, what looks to be a triple trunk, which means that the first branches got buried. But I could leave it as a triple trunk if the roots grew out. I should have dug this one up. Maybe we'll grab that one. We'll save it for spring. So much to do, so little time. All right, so let me share with you. So here's this corner.
Oh, that's in already.
This is in, and these do have a little bit of flexibility, I found out. So what we have to do now is measure halfway between there and there. We should be at 23 feet, but I'm gonna go ahead. Here, I'll give you this end.
All right.
Can you make sure I stay down on that guy? Kind of in the center of the hole. And if you go center and I go center, I should be at 23, give or take. I'm at 22 and 10 inches, so that's awesome. So that means we have to go 11 and 1 to be in the center. So hold it right there. Let's just put it right down on the ground right there. So halfway is 11, right? 22 and 10 inches is 11 and 5 inches, right? Let's double check. 22 feet, 10 inches. So 11 feet.
I'm in the middle of this, right?
In the middle, right? Yes.
Yeah, so there it is.
So 11, 5. 11.5 is right there. I made it 23 instead of 25 because the fencing is 50. I wanted to give myself some leeway. And these 12-foot boards, even if I'm off by 3 to 6 inches, I'm fine. Yeah, right? We'll do this side and stop, and then we're gonna put up a wall.
Okay.
Because I want to talk to you about the doorway after we put up the 2 walls.
Okay.
Let's see if our gem will start up for us today. There it goes. All right. Oh, you know what I forgot, Dad? We're gonna have to eyeball it. I forgot my level.
Oh.
We'll have to eyeball the levelness of it all. Let's get our first crossing piece and we'll put it on. We'll start at the bottom because that's just the easiest. And I'm gonna start with the corner. So if you can stay there. It's a little higher in the center, but I am not concerned about that. That's gonna be just fine. So here's my conundrum. I knew that I'd have this piece over, and if I were to have the piece in the same size, I'm gonna butt into this, but I didn't want to put, 2 inches of a board on there. I thought it'd be way too weak.
Yeah.
So I think for this backside, I'm just gonna put it underneath one section. So the fence will just go a little higher on that piece, just a tad, and I'm not concerned about that. Okay. I just think that's much stronger. Yeah. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
I didn't want to do halves on here.
Right. Yeah.
And so let's just do that. The other one will hang over to here, and then we have extra support going past if we need it.
How's it going to go over? I mean, where is it going to go?
So the next one will go here. And I put the first one on top because from that side of the yard, you won't see, it's going to go like this. So just right under it. So it's a little bit lower. And then the fence will be 6 feet tall, so the top of the fence here will have just like a little section that's overhanging.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not concerned.
Okay.
And if I was worried about it later on,
Yeah.
I could always add a 2x4.
Yeah.
I could do all that too.
Right.
Yeah. Come take a peek. Tell me what you think. You know, for just two of us and not a level,
Doing okay.
I think we're doing all right. I mean,
Okay.
we put fence on there, and look at that. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's not too bad for a fence.
God, no.
I mean, without a level, I think we're all right.
Yeah.
I don't like that sound. One side, we already need the other battery. That's not good. I don't think I bring my cord up, but I have my other battery. Fully charged, I hope. Our goal is to do the back wall next, so it's all connected. Because if I run out of power, we're gonna be in trouble. So we wanna make sure that all these structures will stay on. I can put weight on here so nothing blows it over. But we need to get that back wall next, which will be 2 more pillars only. We just did 3. 1, 2, gosh, I hope we get 4 pillars. If we get 4 pillars, we'll be done except for that wall, as far as battery power. Oh, I can't believe I forgot my charger too. Welcome everyone to Bonsai Acres, a very special trip up today because I got to bring my dad. And so it's the first time he's seeing the property, and it's one of those kind of interesting situations for me because we've been going up to the cabin all our lives on the Gull River near Brainerd, Minnesota. Now here I have this 5-acre chunk of land, and it kind of feels surreal, like I'm almost like I'm cheating on my family, like I've got this other place. But bonsai centered here, but still an oasis and fun to get away. And I'm so glad to have him up here to have his support. So what we had to do is we had to start getting all the poles ready into position and putting them up. So with his help, I was able to get almost all the poles up and ready for some fencing. Now, of course, as always on some of these adventures, there were a couple things we forgot. Now I had both of my power source batteries for my drill battery fully charged. And we just got back from lunch and we're already out of battery power. So we had to buy a couple of nails to finish the job for today to at least be able to put fencing around. So we'll get that in a little bit. But we did a great job today of kind of eyeballing the fence for level because I forgot my level at my house too. You know, measure once, measure twice, measure 3 times. Make a checklist, Dave. Don't forget those things. But we're okay. I think the eyeball for the fence to keep the deer out is just fine. So after doing some eyeballing of the leveling and getting all the wood pieces up, we are close to putting some fence around. So can't thank my dad enough for the support. So as you can see, we have some supports on the left-hand side. We didn't get any up on the right because we were feeling pretty secure. Plus we ran out of power. And now we have some nails. We'll get some more security over on that right side. But we're gonna go ahead and put the top over here. Then we're gonna put fence all the way around the 3 of the 4 sides. So we got the other 2 buckets to put in the ground. I got one in the center there and the center there. These 2 are gonna be for the doorway, but again, we ran out of the power. So we're just gonna temporarily put some fence up and I'll have to finish this next week. But the fence line is next. Can't wait to put that up there. Everything's looking and feeling pretty good. So it's gonna be back to work for us. So we pre-trilled holes last time. So I had my little mark of tree areas. A little fresh dig here. See how hard this dirt really is. It's dry. We're gonna dig down a little bit, get a couple trees in the ground. That one's gonna be a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's moving.
Oh,
no.
That's a bigger one.
That's a biggie.
But we don't want roots getting stuck on that. Yeah. More than anything else, this soil just needs some moisture.
Yeah.
This is all right, so this is a white pine coming from the property at Lake Elmo property, where I had the trees for 5 growing seasons. Oh, this is the one with the real funky double pane here. So we got all the roots up here. This will be a desired plane or the bottom one, but that's probably not going to be so sustainable long term. But we're going to keep them both in there to survive. There's even mycorrhiza on these trees, which is really good to see. So mycorrhiza, that part of pine trees that really helps pick up all those nutrients.
You want some of this dirt?
I will take some of that originally, yeah. And what I want to kind of do here is I do want to have a little bit of an indent so for the water to creep in there, and then we're going to fill it with mulch. And the mulch is going to keep ourselves as moist as long as possible, especially in these dry conditions right now. And that's what saves us half the time. Now, after working with Jonas Dupuis from Bonsai Tonight out in San Francisco when he came to the Minnesota Bonsai Society, one of the things he said to never do is to never plant your tree straight up and down. I think I planted this one pretty straight up and down. We want our bonsai to have movement. And so did I make this one go a little bit too straight up and down? Look at that. So just that little bit of angle. These branches down here, everybody, remember this part of the tree right here and here, that's the future of this tree. This is our sacrificial branch. So this branch is going to keep growing tall, and it's going to make the bottom super thick and start to get that craggly bark we want, right? So this is all gone. You have to envision this all gone. These will thicken up and hopefully continue to push growth back lower on the tree. Then we can have our fun design down the road. But our goal today is to get a couple of these in the ground, get some water on here and mulch, not straight up and down, and we're good to go. There's one down. Let's go to the next one. Got a much nicer base on this one. So you put a whole bunch of trees in the ground. Of course, you're hoping for some real nice bases, but compared to that last tree, we don't have that big taproot sticking down here. We have a nice radial pattern of roots right here. We're gonna be able to put that right in there, really nice. And that's sitting really good. And again, this has some movement in the trunk already. We have a nice bottom flare starting, but we're gonna go this way so this branch continues to go up towards the sun. Sun comes up this way. We'll put that one right there at that angle. So nowhere near straight up and down. And that's gonna be a fun tree one day. That's one of the better trunks I have so far of the ones I dug up. Again, because it's got movement down below. It's got some flare at the bottom. And there we go. And so again, on this tree, we have 3 trees coming from one trunk. We will get rid of one of these eventually. I'm not sure on this particular tree what's going to be the main design of this tree, possibly the branch going way out here because of the movement. And so we have lower buds on the bottom part of this tree, one right by my finger here. There's buds back there, so we can cut all back here as we need it in the future. And everything else will be just to thicken up this trunk a little bit more for the next 3 to 5 years. And someone will be able to pull a trunk out of the ground, hopefully like that, in a couple more years, and see if they can make this Bonsai Acres tree theirs. 2 down. All right, let's go get a couple of reds in the ground. The red pines have been in the ground the same amount of time as the whites. This was their 5th growing season. And the red pines have far more scraggly bark than the reds have more than the whites. So can you see all that flaky bark right there?
Yeah.
This flaky bark is far superior to the ones on the white. Now the problem with trees when you get them from the facilities, the nurseries, is you end up having a lot of roots that are stuck to the tree and going straight down. So that could form into some really cool look down the road, but the main roots are way down here, and these are roots tucked really tight to the trunk. So the best thing for me to do would be to try to separate these a little bit, but I don't want to damage any more roots. This might be a really bizarre tree in the end. They're infused in there pretty good, these back roots. So we're just going to go ahead and hope for the best. Another real good curvy trunk though. If we can get this thing off to a interesting slanted start, we'll see what happens. I've got 4 trees in the ground. The water is on one of the trees. We'll get them good and saturated. And the reason why I went to the trees first before finishing up here is because the water is running out so slow. It'll take us a good hour or 2 to water all 8, 12, 15 trees, whatever we got in the ground today, or what we'll get in the ground. And so while we work on this, those trees will be getting saturated. And so we'll hopefully get them all watered. We bought some nails in town to put these boards up. That's next. It'll be hard to pound them up, but we'll get this section up here, put some fence around, and we're almost there. We just wrapped up a crazy day. We have fence over, well, almost 7/8.
Yeah.
We got a temporary post over there, but we got the gist of it done. We're gonna close up the fence so no critters come in, because we planted 1, 2, 3, 4 reds, or those are whites, those are reds, and four reds, 4 whites, something like that, and a couple arborvitaes. So you said moments ago this was kind of cool.
Absolutely.
What did you expect when you were first driving into my property? What was the first thing on your mind?
Well, I knew it was going to be, you know, good. Actually, I thought that the terrain as we came in, I thought, holy smoly, right. But terrain or nothing, you did it. You got it right. This turned out great.
Yeah, this turned out pretty good, didn't it?
Yes, indeed.
And I certainly couldn't have done it without your help, so thank you
Well,
so much.
oh, I was glad to be here.
This was fabulous. And it looks good, looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
Well, we have to add a little reinforcements. I didn't
Yeah.
have enough juice in the old drill, so we got a couple drills to add. We'll undo the pounding and add some more drill bits.
Yeah.
But, and then we'll get a gate next time I come up. I just
Yeah.
need 2 more holes and I'll make a custom gate to it.
There you
We'll
go.
be able to wheel right in with all our stuff. Well, this is awesome.
Good.
2 thumbs up. What do we do for this? Oh yeah, thanks, Dad. This has been
You
awesome.
betcha.
This has been great. All right, we still got to pack up.
Yeah. Oh, well.
We gotta do the not so fun stuff. Let's see if I have 1 more ounce of water in here. Oh, there's a little bit. There's a little bit. There we go. Gotta figure out this water. Another day's work at Bonsai Acres, and the fence is almost complete. Could not have done this without my dad. Thanks so much to my dad for the extra set of hands and thinking things through. A few errors again. I left the level at home. We did this all without a level, everybody. And a couple reinforcements we'll need to put onto some of the fence posts. But once everything's up, I think everything's gonna be in great shape. Super excited to be sitting here in the gate with all the trees. Well, all the trees, some of the trees in the ground. We're getting there.